Hey, welcome back to Blue Ridge Homestead. Today we're going to plant a tree, maybe a couple trees. We're going to provide some natural food to the wildlife, particularly white-tailed deer, maybe turkeys, definitely squirrels. We're going to be planting this Dunstan chestnut. If you want to go to your local garden center or nursery this time of year, this being mid-November, you'll probably find these are on sale at a very steeply discounted price. This chestnut is some of the best and preferred food for a white-tailed deer. That and persimmons. Persimmons is another good one. They also love the white oak acorns. But today we're going to plant this, and this tree was 75% off roughly. So that's a pretty good markdown. One thing you will have to do is put some kind of a barrier, a guard, maybe some woven wire fence between it and the deer till it gets up good size, 6 inches or so through the tree, and that way they don't destroy it. Because when it's this size, they'll come through, especially this time of year being mid-November. It's rut, and they're all out prowling and showing how big and bad they are. They'll take a little tree like this and they'll just thrash it to death, break it off, and probably won't make it through that. Another thing, these little limbs down low, they'll pick the leaves off of those as they come out in the spring, and they'll eat them clean off. These ones up high, they probably won't be able to get to, and that's what I'm hoping. And like I said, we'll put a guard around it. So y'all stick with us, and I'm gonna dig a hole. I sure am glad that I wouldn't have to dig this hole a month ago or so, because we have had one heck of a drought, and we just now got some good rains. And man, if I had to dig this hole in, I might as well go out to Walmart parking lot and try to dig a hole. That stuff's hard as a rock. You'll have to forgive me if I'm trying to fight off a little bit of a respiratory thing, so might be breathing a little hard. It's when you dig a hole for plant trees or shrubs, you generally want it about twice as big around as the pot it's coming out of. If it's not in a pot, then you just want to make sure that you give it plenty of room, some light soil. You don't want the soil compact around it real bad. Just give it a little air in the soil, lighten it up some so that you can put those roots out this winter, and it'll be a whole lot healthier this spring. I'm making this one, it's probably 2 times the size of that pot. This pot, probably 12 inches across and maybe 12 inches deep or so. So I'm sure those roots are just wound around it on the inside. And we'll show you the remedy for that too. We'll go a little deeper, because I'm gonna put some stuff in the bottom of the hole, elbow deep. So I'd say that hole's a good 18 inches deep, which is plenty deep, way deeper than that tree needs, but that's okay. You might wonder, what in the world does he have pumpkins? What is he doing with these pumpkins? Well, pumpkins are high in potassium, and the nutrients that come from those as they decay and rot will feed this tree. They'll also attract worms that'll bring in worm poo. I can't remember exactly what it's called, castings or something, I can't remember, but brings all that stuff in also. And worm poo is some really good fertilizer also. So what you do is you just chop it up. Okay, so we got that pumpkin chopped up there, and we're ready to put some, say what? We're going to put what on it? Alfalfa pellets. You don't want to use a lot, but alfalfa pellets are very high in nitrogen. Nitrogen is something that the plant needs to produce foliage and grow well. So we're going to put some of these in there too. Again, not a lot, just enough. And we'll kind of work these in together. Now these pellets, once they get wet, they're going to swell up, start rotting, breaking down, along with that pumpkin. And that's probably as close to an organic fertilizer as you can get. I mean, you could put some kind of bone meal, fish meal under it, and do pretty good. Fish emulsion is really good, but it's really high in nitrogen too. So I'm going to put a little dirt on top of this, just to encourage the roots to look for that fertilizer that's down there. There we go. So that's what I do. If I don't have a pumpkin or something like nature, I'll go and get a scoop of goat manure, and I'll put that in the bottom of it. That's another very good organic fertilizer. You can also use chicken manure in small quantities. It's very high in nitrogen, and it'll burn your plants up. So I'm going to get this plant or this tree and come back. All right, so we got the tree in the ground. We've put the soil around it to tamp it down. Like I said, you don't want to mash the dirt around it so tight that the water can't get through to it. What I do is I'll make a light fist, and I'll just go around it and just lightly tap it. Just enough you make marks and compact the soil a little, but not so much that you hurt your hand or pack the soil so hard that the water can't get through. And then I'll bring in just a little more, sprinkle it around it like this. Now, if you wanted to use a petroleum-based fertilizer or Miracle Grow, tree spikes, you can do that. You can do it right now if that's what you wanted to do. I've done a variety of things. This is just what I had, and this will work just fine. So this is a Chestnut Hill Outdoors food plot tree. And some people love to eat chestnuts. They're actually pretty good. This bark that's covered up a little bit by my dirt, I'm going to move that dirt out from around it. Like I said, I want it to be able to breathe and flourish. So I'll move my shovel to make that. It's a dam is what I'm going to call it. I'll bring soil in and I'll start making just like a wall of dirt. Being we're on this little hillside, this is one spot where I would say if you have grass in your dirt, you want to get rid of it. Not that it'll hurt, it'll just rob that tree of moisture and nourishment as that grass gets bigger. So I did that with my hands. You can just as easily do it with a shovel. You just make that little dam to catch that water as it comes down the hill. If you get a big rain, it'll probably blow right through this little dam, or to wash a bunch of soil on top of it, which you got to come and check on your trees. I'm going to leave a little low spot right here to allow that water to flow out, but not totally destroy what I got put up. So that tree is planted, it's in the ground, it's good to go. And now I will put this cage around it using T-post and some fence wire. I'll bring y'all along with that, but I'm going to move you back and out of the dirt first. Well, I forgot to hit record when I drove the post. So you're going to drive them. You could use 3 posts. That one was an existing post that was already here. And I'm going to wrap wire around and around and around them. Kind of keep critters out and make it like a cage out of it. The post, or T-post, I would suggest you use something pretty strong. Going to be there a few years, and the animals, they're eventually going to test it out. But these T-posts have these little notches, which is for those type of insulators on that one. But that wire will also set right across it, and it'll help hold it up. So you drive them down until the foot is in the ground. If you're not familiar with what a foot is, or what I call a foot, that's this piece right here. That's what kind of helps it from falling over. So that tree is in the ground. Now we're going to build a little cage around it. Here is some old electric wire from a fence, and it'll serve its purpose. It's pretty thin and broke up a bit, but it'll serve a good purpose here. You just want to wrap it around the post. I'm going to go about 6 inches above the ground, tie it off, wrap it, and then make like you're on a merry-go-round. Go around and around and around. So you want that first wire to be about 6 inches. Or that's where I want mine anyway. Then the next one, when you get back around to the post you were on, or where the post you started, I would probably go up, I don't know, about 8-10 inches. And this is not an exact science. You're just trying to deter anything that wants to damage or eat your tree from doing so. And if I need to, at a later date, I'll put electric wire on it to further deter whatever it may be. And each time you want to come up about, like, say, another 8 inches, 8 to 10, you just keep going around and around. When you get about waist high, I would kind of close the gap just a little, maybe take that down to 6 inches. That's where they're going to be more likely to stick their nose inside and see what that is, and if it's edible. Deer in particular are some very, very curious creatures. A lot of times if you're running a chainsaw out in the woods cutting wood, you pay attention, there'll be some deer that'll come close, just wondering what you are. So when you get to where you want to stop as far as going up, just find you a spot and tie your wire off. If you ain't getting rain, I would water it when I planted it, and then summertime when it starts drying out, bring it a gallon of water once a week, maybe give it a little drink just to keep it going. You don't want it to be totally reliant upon you to keep it alive. You want it to actually try. So you want it to put roots out and start pulling moisture in. But that's all I got for you today. This is Lewis and Sally for Blue Ridge Homestead saying come grow with us. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and we're on YouTube. So come check us out. See ya.